Welcome to the Stix episode numero Diaz. Number 10. We're back after a 2-week hiatus where both of us had spring break.
Yep.
But we're ready to get and start talking about basketball. Oh my lord. There it is. All right, just a quick recap. Not really quick because this will be a long little bit. So to start off, Carolina won the regular season title for the ACC. They did this after they when they beat Notre Dame 2 weeks ago. They had already claimed the title, but they claimed at least a share. It was then when they went into Cameron Indoor to beat the Dukies that we claimed the full regular season championship. And everyone thought, well, that means that they're probably going to be really easy ACC champion favorites, right?
Wrong.
They lose in the finals to the NC State Wolfpack, who were absolutely hot. 5 games in 5 days. That is absurd. Has never been done in the ACC, at least.
Drew and I have realized very quickly that we accidentally are psychic and we call a lot of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So prior to the tournament, NC State announced that they were probably going to fire Kevin Keats after this season.
Mm-hmm.
And then I received a text from Drew that goes, NC State's going to mess around and win the ACC. As a joke.
Nah, it wasn't a joke.
five games later against 5 national champions, NC State is your ACC tournament champion.
Yeah.
DJ Burns is tournament MVP.
Well deserved.
But that is well deserved. But there were a bunch of other great showings. DJ Horn had 29 in the championship game. Michael O'Connell stepped up big time. He averaged, I believe, like 13 points throughout the tournament.
Shot against Virginia.
Ben Middlebrooks, very, very good on defense. A rebounding staple. I was very intrigued watching his rebounding. Speaking of rebounding staples, Mohamed Diarra. Are you kidding me? Against Duke and Carolina, I believe he averaged 14 points a game, 15 rebounds, 3 steals, and 3.5 blocks.
He was a monster. The sad he was a monster.
Yeah, he deserved to be ACC All-Tournament first team. Instead, they stuck him in at second team, which is.
I actually did not know that was a thing. I didn't know they did All-Tournament teams.
They do every year.
Oh, well,
and they'll do regional teams for the tournament too, and Final Four teams and championship teams.
Yeah, Carolina should have won this game. They didn't. I received a lot of hate from various different people. My favorite being from our good friend Kelsey, who said, "Love you, but get fucked." Love you, Kelsey. That one hurt a little. Moving on here, talking about Charlotte. They lost in the first matchup again in the AAC tournament to eventual Cinderella run cut short Temple Owls, who made it to the finals after beating FAU just to lose to UAB. Charlotte was very, very hot earlier in the year, and then they went on a really, really bad cool streak. But we only have two seniors, Robert Braswell and Jackson Threadgill, who were bench players. They were good players, but they were bench players. And so we have a second. We got third in the American for record wise. And we're returning pretty much all of our players. So I think it's only up for the Niners from here. And I'm excited to see what we do in the transfer portal. If we do anything at all, and recruits. I'm excited for next year. Moving on here. App State wins the Sun Belt, as you can see.
App State won the Sun Belt regular season title with I believe a record of 26-5. I believe was the regular season, or it might have been 27-5. Okay. Then we enter the tournament and we get bounced in our second game by Arkansas State off of a buzzer beater. Um, Here you can see it being played. Um, I watched this live. I was on spring break at the beach. Um,
Yeah,
it was great. I mean, it's not fun considering 2 games prior, literally 9 days before this happened,
they
we beat
destroyed them.
we beat Arkansas State by 23,
Yeah.
and then we literally go and we lose to Arkansas State off a buzzer beater in the championship game, or not championship game, in the tournament, which
And now they play it.
Arkansas State would go on to lose to JMU in the Sun Belt Championship.
And JMU is now looked at as one of the bigger Cinderella teams.
Mm-hmm.
And App State is in the NIT, which no hate to them. However, they do play Wake Forest in Wake
We do
Forest.
play with, yes, in Winston-Salem.
Okay,
Yeah.
so basically, to all our viewers, if you are putting any bets, if you even do brackets for the NIT, bet Wake Forest, because Wake Forest doesn't lose at home. They don't lose games at home.
They don't
So
lose at home.
bet the house on Wake Forest. Moving into March Madness here. Obviously, both State and Carolina obviously made it.
The best
Carolina,
time of year.
best time of year. I'm gonna move us to the middle here. Carolina actually, believe it or not, was still a 1 seed. Surprised me a little bit. I won't lie, if I'm being honest. I thought they'd be the best 2 seed, but I will take a 1 seed. And they play in Charlotte, and I'll be there Thursday. Woo! I get to watch them. I get to watch them play Howard or Wagner. Knock on wood here. They should beat the ever living booty out of either one of those guys. As we know, with Purdue and Virginia, it's very possible for 16 seeds to win. But help me God, if Carolina loses to Howard or Wagner, you're never gonna see me on this podcast ever again. But we'll go in order, starting from we'll start in the East region. We're not gonna pick matchups here. I think I just want to point out a few.
Just go over like some of our bigger games, like upsets.
Yeah. So I think that Morehead State has a chance over Illinois. Morehead State's one of those unfamiliar teams that no one really knows about. They win their conference, and Illinois is kind of one of those like shaky teams that they are hot. They did win the Big Ten, but they can just as easily get bounced. Another team that can easily get bounced over there is Washington State.
Yes.
Drake, I won't lie, not watching Drake basketball, but from the experts, I should be the expert, but from the experts, Drake seems like a really good team. I did watch the championship game, and I really believe that Washington State, like I said for Illinois, is a very shaky team, and they can get upset very, very easily. So
yeah,
I'm not a betting man, but I think Drake has a chance to pull off the upset.
I will say I also am really high on Drake. I have Drake upsetting Washington State, if you even want to call that an upset. 7-10 upsets are whatever.
Yeah.
Their best player, Tucker DeVries, I believe is how you pronounce his name, averages 22 a game.
Yeah, stud.
I mean, he's a bucket. So I have Drake as one of my higher 10 seeds. So, and I've also heard that they should have been higher than 10.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on, we'll go to the West with
Okay.
North Carolina as the number one. Obviously, North Carolina. I will say for the 8-9 game, Mississippi State versus Michigan State, if you just try MSU, you're guaranteed to win.
Yeah.
Grand Canyon. Speaking of lower seeds, upsets potentially. Personally, I don't have Grand Canyon winning this game, but I know a lot of people that do. Grand Canyon is one of the hottest teams in the nation. I believe their record was
29-4.
29-4. Oh right, it says it right there.
Dumbass.
Whatever. Grand Canyon is one of the hotter teams, but St. Mary's absolutely throttled Gonzaga in the WCC championship. So I had St. Mary's in that one. Another big one, Clemson versus New Mexico.
Clemson
As
sucks.
fans of ACC teams, Clemson is not a 6 seed.
They shouldn't even be in the tournament. And
Clemson is
yes,
21-11, and they didn't make it even to the semifinals of the ACC. Yes,
they
they beat Carolina, but they also lost to Carolina, lost to State.
lost to
Who
Duke.
else? Lost to everyone else.
They lost to they beat Alabama, but Alabama sucks. I'm sorry, Alabama. Speaking of bad teams that should not be this high as they are, Alabama is a 4 seed. They cannot win outside their own home stadium. They suck. But they're probably gonna they can very easily bounce by Charleston, and I believe that. They do have that really big dude from North Dakota State. It's like Grant Nelson or something, but yeah,
I don't know.
This whole I feel like Carolina's whole seed is fraudulent. I thought they should have an easy road to winning their region. However, Caleb Love is in our region.
Yep.
If
I have continuing on with this Clemson New Mexico game. I have New Mexico going to my Sweet 16. I like them. I think they're pretty cool.
cool name.
The Baylor Colgate game. I have heard a lot about Colgate, but I just don't see it. Baylor won the championship like 3 years ago, I believe. Baylor's a good team. Dayton, Nevada. Dayton should not be a 7. Nevada should not be a 10. Dayton didn't even win their conference. Nevada is in a very talented Mountain West conference. Nevada's a very good team. I have them beating Dayton, and I almost picked them to beat Arizona in the second round, which, as we all know, as a State fan and a Carolina fan, you know Caleb Love is very prone to just chucking shots up. They're also very reliant. They're also very reliant on Caleb Love making those shots.
He was a Pac-12 player of the year. I should just point that out.
That's fine. But we've seen Caleb Love just chuck shots up before. We know how it ends. So Nevada and Arizona in the round of 32. That could be a very interesting game to watch. I know I'll be watching that one. Moving on to the South region, Drew, you want to take care of this one?
Yeah. Houston destroys Longwood. Nebraska. They have Steph. They have reincarnation of Steph Curry on their team. It's I hear.
KC Tominaga, I believe.
Tominaga, and they're playing Texas A&M, who should not be in the tournament either. 20-14.
Yep.
20-14.
It's okay. Look at Michigan State, bro, on the other side of the bracket. 19-14.
Yeah. Just like crazy. Wisconsin, very, very good team. However, I think they have a chance of getting bounced by JMU. I think it's a game that a lot of people are picking JMU in. However, Wisconsin and Chucky Hepburn can just as easily win it. Wisconsin has a lot of good players.
I think Wisconsin drew probably the worst 12 seed. I mean, JMU's 31-3. As we both know, App State gave them 2 of their 3 losses. Wisconsin definitely drew the worst 12 seed. Actually, I lied. I think Gonzaga did, but that's besides the point. Moving on to the Duke game.
Vermont is winning by 50, y'all. Vermont's gonna absolutely be the ever-living crud out of the team from Durham. No,
yeah, you gonna say it?
I think Duke will win. However, I think they're gonna lose to whoever they play the next round. And then how about that state game?
So I'm a State fan, as most of you guys know. Texas Tech, I don't really believe in all of that much. Texas Tech,
they got one guy
in their
Pop Isaacs.
Yeah, Texas Tech in their last few games, they did beat Baylor, but they did beat Baylor and BYU, but other than that, they haven't really beaten anyone impressive.
It's
I
it's
mean, they
very
beat
hard.
Kansas, but we all know they
Kansas is
beat Kansas, but we
fraudulent.
all know that Kansas is on fraud watch. They
The
also
Big
beat
12.
TCU,
The Big 12
who
is
Drew and
a
I
good
think is just an
basketball
okay
conference.
team.
The Big
Yeah,
12 is a good
but
basketball
we
conference, so
think
sometimes it can be hard to tell.
yeah,
But
so we think
it's hot.
Texas Tech is a little bit on upset watch, and uh, out of the
Mine,
brackets that I've seen, a lot of teams, a lot of people also think Texas Tech's on upset watch with NC State taking this game. I personally think NC State's going to ride this momentum coming out of the ACC tournament,
very,
and
very unbiased take. They're one of, if not the hottest teams in basketball. State is, obviously coming out winning the ACC, and
yep,
they're gonna win it more. I feel like,
yeah,
and they're really gonna want it when they play. Who I think they're gonna play in the round of 32.
yep. And if State wins, I believe they'll set up a matchup against Kentucky, who
The shiftiest guy in the whole
if
entire league. His shiftiness might put State to sleep. No,
if
Rob
you
Dylan.
guys don't know, Rob Dillingham was before going to Kentucky, he was committed to NC State. And then NC State decided they wanted to suck and they went 11-21. Rob Dillingham decommits, commits to
Kentucky
Kentucky, and then
has good
at least
best
last year,
one six man of
NC
the
State had
year.
a pretty good season. Um,
Yeah,
and then NC State was a little shaky this year, but
out of the
anyways,
tournament.
it's like a little revenge game.
Yeah.
State versus Kentucky. Show Rob Dillingham where he really should have gone to. Um,
Mm-hmm.
anyways, moving on. Florida versus whoever wins that game. I believe Colorado's going to win, and Colorado shoots the lights out.
Yeah.
Let me pull it up right here. Colorado is seventh in the nation in field goal percentage, fifth in the nation in 3-point percentage, and 16th in field goal percentage or free throw percentage. Sorry.
I mean, this.
Colorado is one of the best shooting teams in the league, and they're led by KJ Simpson, who is one of the best guards in the nation. I believe he's a projected top 5 pick in this year's draft.
Yeah, one of the top
Anyways,
picks in the draft.
yeah.
He was at one for a little bit, or one or two in that range for a while. Looks like an
Yeah.
Amani Bates clone.
And then in this Marquette game, Marquette is
Marquette
very
bounces him.
banged up.
Yeah, but
Marquette is very banged up. I believe Tyler Kolek is gonna be he's the game time decision. So that kind of sucks for Marquette, considering he's probably the best point guard in the nation. Um, averaging 15 and 8 on the season. But I have heard and I have seen some people picking Western Kentucky over Marquette.
yeah, I have.
I don't really know how to feel about that. I haven't seen any of Western Kentucky, but I
I
know
have
if
I have Marquette
Tyler
personally.
Kolek if Tyler Kolek plays, Marquette is a hard team to beat. And moving on to the Midwest region, Purdue, who, if you guys know me, I always pick Purdue to win, and they always let me down.
But it's not going to change this year.
Specifically in the last 3 years, it all started with Carson Edwards, man.
When
I
they were
had
actually
Purdue going to
winning
the Final
games,
Four that year,
and they actually did
and
go
they
to the Final
lost.
Four,
They
or
lost
no,
to
Elite Eight,
no, they lost to
Elite
Virginia
Eight,
in the
Eight.
Elite Eight in overtime.
Yeah,
They literally had it in the bag. And then the last 3 years, we all know this. They lost to a 13, a 15, and a 16 seed back to back to back years.
given one of those was the team that we'll talk about at the bottom of that bracket later, but
Yep. So personally, I have Purdue winning it all. But I know that there's a lot of people that say that Zach Edey can't score when there aren't Big Ten refs. Whatever. Moving on to the next matchup, Utah State. A lot of people have Utah State going far, beating Purdue in the
far,
round of
really
32.
far. Another Mountain West
I've
team.
seen Utah. Yeah, the Mountain West Conference is not any conference to shy away from.
6 teams, I think.
Yep, they had 6 teams in the tournament. I've
Just
seen people send Utah State to the Final Four. Like, it's been crazy.
Yes.
Gonzaga versus McNeese. both Drew and I are very high on McNeese. We think that they just get their bucket getters, and Gonzaga,
They were hot for
their
a little
record
bit.
doesn't.
They were hot.
They were towards the end of the season.
Towards the
They
end of the
beat
season, but they lost to St.
they beat
Mary's
St.
in
Mary's.
the finals.
Yep.
So St. Mary's is right in that.
But
Gonzaga is kind of cooled off a little bit.
but Drew and I both know that Gonzaga plays nobodies, aside from
St.
BYU
Mary's.
and
BYU's
St.
in the Big
Mary's, but
12.
they play nobodies. Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Other than St. Mary's. So I mean, they go against Pepperdine and Pacific
Yeah.
Conference all year. So or Pacific.
Pacific.
Um, I
They're,
saw the halftime score of that game against Pepperdine was like 48-9.
yeah, it was
Okay,
bad.
and then Pepperdine proceeded to get throttled by whoever they played.
Another upset that's getting that we both, I believe, think will happen is Sanford over Kansas.
I have Kansas, but
you have Kansas. Okay, well, I think I have Kansas too. However, I think that it's very possible that Sanford wins this game. If you know Kansas, you know that this year it's a story of ups and downs. They have been very good, as ranked as high as I believe they were 2 or 3 earlier this year, and then they moved down to like 21. And they had I think it was like a 10-7, 10-8 record in conference. Like, that's horrible. Granted, like I said, the Big 12 is a very good conference. However, you gotta do more than that. They
were 10-8 in conference play.
They have one of the more talented bigs in Hunter Dickinson. They have what's his name? I'm brain fart. Kevin McCullers. But I think that Sanford has a chance to win this game, and even if Kansas does win this game, I'm not sure they make a deep run. I'm just not sure this is their year. Moving on to South Carolina versus Oregon. Oregon won the Pac-12, another team that they can be very off and on. But South Carolina, I mean, I think me and you both remember that absolute heater that South Carolina went on, where they were just beating SEC teams left and right, led by Michi Johnson. And this South Carolina team looks very, very good. However, this is also the same South Carolina team that almost lost to ECU earlier this year. So both these teams are hot and cold, very inconsistent teams. It's just a matter of who gets hot at the right time.
Yeah. Personally, I have Oregon winning this game. So
yeah.
Moving on to the Creighton versus Akron game. I like Creighton. Creighton's a really good team. Yeah, I don't remember their guys' names. They have crazy names.
Ryan Kalkbrenner.
Ryan Kalkbrenner and Baylor Shireman.
Crazy names.
They're I mean, yeah, crazy names, but they're both, I mean, they're bucket getters. I really have nothing else to say. I think I'm really high on Creighton. I believe I have them. Yeah, I have Creighton in my Elite Eight against Purdue.
I have Creighton going Elite Eight as well.
Yeah, they're gonna throttle Akron.
Texas and Virginia, or Colorado State. Colorado State's winning, I hope. Virginia has no business being in here. They suck. They did, I guess, if you want to call the state win a close game, it was a close game. They should have. If you watch that game, like Aiden and I both did, they should have won that game. They shot, I think, 62% on the year from free throws. 62. When you play as slow as Virginia does, you have to make all your points that you're given, and those free throws have to go in. And so I know Tony Bennett is at the team, but I mean, they have guys like obviously they have really good defense. They have probably one and two in ACC Defensive Player of the Year, and Ryan Dunn and Reese Beekman. I think Ryan Dunn should have gotten it, but Reese Beekman's obviously a really good defender himself. They should not be in this tournament, however. And I think Colorado State beats them, but then I think that Texas beats Colorado State. Texas has I mean, if you remember Oral Roberts, a couple of years ago, they had Max A. Smith, A. Smith,
It's A. Smith. A.
A.
Smith.
Smith, and he's on this Texas team. He's obviously very talented, a bit quieter, but this is the stage that he shines on, and I think that he continues to shine and maybe leads them to a deeper run. We'll see. They have to face either Tennessee or the Cinderella story from a couple years ago we were talking about earlier, St. Peter's. Now I don't know if they have any returners from that team, but just
I don't think they do.
Off name value alone, I mean, Loyola Chicago went on Cinderella runs a couple years in between each other, and Tennessee but Tennessee has such good defense that I think the defense will just stifle St. Peter's the whole game, and then once they get something going, Tennessee wins this game because obviously you have really good defense. Then you have a kid like Dalton Connect, who SEC Player of the Year. He can give you 40 in a game. I mean, he's a stud. And I think it's very possible that Tennessee makes it out of Charlotte with 2 wins.
Yeah. I want to hear who you have in your Final Four.
My Final Four, really, really boring.
Is it super chalk?
UConn, Carolina. I actually do have Houston in the South, 3 1s, and then
my God.
And then I have Tennessee coming out of the Midwest. So
a 1-1-1 and 2. That's so lame.
It is really lame. However, I believe
mine's a little more fun, not by a mile, but I have UConn coming out of the East, and then for the West, I have Alabama. Drew doesn't like this, but I just think Alabama scores a lot, like a lot. And I think that if they can continue to score a lot and limit their opponent's points, then they could go far. But I understand that they have 0 defense. Same with Kentucky. That's why I'm not super high on Kentucky. Speaking of the South region, I have Marquette making it out, beating Houston, I believe, for this region. Yeah, I have Marquette beating Houston. Although in one of my other brackets, you could call me biased. I don't care. I do have NC State making the Final Four. I just think it's really funny that NC State could beat Houston in the Elite Eight, who they beat in their national championship run the last time NC State won the ACC. So I think it's a little funny, but I do have Marquette in my super serious bracket. And then I have Purdue making it out of the Midwest. And then my championship game is UConn versus Purdue, and then I have Purdue winning.
Yeah. Well, that is our brackets, and just to wrap up here, because we are trying to keep these episodes shorter, and we are kind of short on time right now. But with the NBA, in the span of the 2 weeks that Aiden and I, were gone, the Celtics and Suns played twice. Celtics winning pretty handily both times. No surprise there. But the Suns have cooled off a bit, and the Celtics obviously still as hot as ever. They're as we say every single episode, it's their year.
I did see in the most recent power rankings, they have the Nuggets at 1, even after they lost
to the Celtics.
And the Celtics, no,
they didn't lose to Celtics. They
beat the Nuggets at 1.
Yeah, they beat the Celtics.
Yeah, Nuggets at 1, Celtics at 2, but the Celtics have like a 7-game lead over them.
Yeah, no, it's weird.
It's so weird.
You know your team's deep when you have Sam Hauser dropping 30. He dropped 30.
I know.
It's wild.
It's crazy. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Stix episode 10. We'll see you next Thursday for more Sweet 16 and Elite 8
matchups.
See you, boys.